What is going on, you guys? Welcome back into the shop for part 3 of building a Pennsylvania spice box. Let's jump back into the project. Almost all the doors that I saw on the spice boxes online had this arch at the top. I decided to include that into my design as well. It's just a simple arch that actually happened to be the same size as a 5-gallon bucket, which is pretty convenient. So this is going to have a raised panel in it, and to cut the grooves all around the side, I have a couple of white side router bits. These are the classical profile bits I used on Wallzilla several months back, and I think that this style will actually work well with this. Alright, so we got our frame pieces cut here, and I have to say this piece here was quite sketchy. In fact, I had to actually recut it because, as you saw, the dust collector sucked the piece into the router bit and it split this piece off. The next step here is going to be making the panel to go inside of this, and I have this piece of sapele here, and this panel is also going to have to match this profile right here, so I have to see about doing that too. So let's get that piece cut, milled down, and fit in here. So as much as I would have liked to see this work out with this arc at the top here, it's just not panning out. The router bit that I have for the raised panel, there isn't a bearing right in the center there. If there was, then it'd be a lot easier to pivot the panel across a curved surface like that. I tried to kind of freehand it. That's not that's not gonna work. So instead, I actually made a square door. Now, I do think the arch probably would have looked better, but because I don't have that specific router bit, this is the next best option. And I'm gonna get this all sanded up and glued so that then we can keep going on a couple other things. So while our door over there is drying, it's time to actually work on the crown molding. Now, this is actually gonna be made up of several pieces glued together like this, and they're all different sizes, as you can see, and they're going to kind of make up that size just like that. And the way that this is actually going to turn into molding is by running a different router bit on each one of these pieces. I did this on a project several years ago, and I really like the look of it because you can pretty much make whatever size you want. So I'm going to pick out a couple of router bits, try it out, and see what kind of profiles I can get. It's just kind of something to play around with too. This will be fun. So here are the profiles finally now cut to their final sizes, and they're looking really sweet. You can see I got those little square details right there in the profile, and then this actually sweeps up, and when this is all glued, this right here is actually going to be perfectly flush and sanded. I purchased these little itty bitty tiny knobs that were hopefully going to be for the drawers. These are not going to work at all, and I'll show you here why. So if you look at the drawers right now, they are about 1/8 of an inch set back from right here, which is where the door is going to hit when it closes, and that means that if you have a knob attached to here that sticks out even like a 1/2 inch, it's not going to allow the door to close all the way. So instead, all it is an 1 1/8 hole right here. Kind of set that up halfway, and then I can plunge through, and it gives the drill bit something to rest on. I have a handful more of these to do, so let's get to it. I got the door mounted onto the cabinet here with these little itty bitty hinges. Because all of the drawers already have a notch in them, I'm gonna go ahead and do that notch, and it'll set this apart, I guess, from other spice boxes. And that is a fancy looking finger pull. When I was looking online, almost all of them had a secret drawer in the back, and inside these boxes there would be like some sort of mechanism that would allow the drawer to show. So the way I'd like to add a secret drawer into the back of my box is with the back panel sliding down and the compartment up at the top where the crown molding is. This is hollow, and I purposely made this so that I could have the drawer pull out from there. But then when the back is up, you don't see it, you can't get at it. And the way that panel is going to drop is by having a dowel that is exposed in the back of a couple of the drawers, and then when you open those drawers, the panel could then drop and expose the drawer. So I picked here a couple drawers that are just completely random in order, and these are the ones that you're gonna have to open in order to drop the back down. So I'm probably just gonna put the dowel right in the center. That way it doesn't draw too much attention to itself. Don't want to go any deeper than that. So I only really need like a 1/2 inch. So this right here is a pretty good idea as to what this is going to function like. So if you imagine the drawer opening, the panel right here, and that opens, this will then be able to drop. You know, I could add them in all the drawers, but I think that's kind of pointless. And I think having 3 random ones is better. So I got 2 more of these to do. So I'm able to actually pull out 2 of the drawers, and with only one of them with the dowel protruding through the back, it's able to hold in the back panel. Check this out. It'll drop and allow that hidden compartment to open up. And that's pretty cool. You can pull out any 2 drawers, and it's obviously the last one that drops the back. So I'm taking everything up to 220 grit. I could have stopped at like 120 or 150 even, but I feel like going up to a higher grit is actually better for the finish that I'm using, and that is going to be that beeswax oil finish that I used on the credenza. So I have a little bit more to do on this here. I'll vacuum it really well after this so there's no more dust, and then we'll look at doing the finish. Here's the finished result. I think it turned out absolutely incredible. Open the door here, you can then see all of the lovely drawer faces, and these are all grain matched together. And the contrast between the sapele and the maple also turned out really cool, especially with the half-blind dovetails. It makes them really pop. Now, one last thing that is very important is that this is actually going to be for sale on my website. If you'd like to go and purchase it, or if you'd like to just learn more about it, I have pictures, a write-up, a whole thing about it. And also, just to make this clear, there's only one of these available, and if you're interested in buying it, make sure you do it right away because, well, there's only one of them. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this series. It was a lot of fun doing all the dovetails and the joinery in the shop. I'm looking forward to the next project. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this one and what projects I should do in the future. Be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and drop a like on the video. That's pretty much all I got for this one, and I will see you in the next one.